not everybody even gets to 30.
Oh, say that. Wow, that was
and
real.
So the wrinkles on our face are a gift. The white hair on our heads is a gift. It's just time that we get to spend growing as human beings.
And like you said, just living in the present moment.
Hey, I'm Cynthia, storyteller, spiritual softie, hija de too many identities to count, and one half of this diasporic duo.
And I'm Amy, creative curator, intuitive thinker, hija de inmigrantes, and this is Decaf Soul.
How is it to be 30, flirty, and thriving, but like, do you still feel 30,
terrible.
flirty while you're married? Like, is that like, because like in the movie she's single, right? She's living this like fun life, but you know, we're like 30, flirty and thriving, but we're married, so like it's not as it's not as flirty.
Are we really flirty?
No.
Damn.
So sad.
Oh my god. But remember that movie though, like 2000. I don't know when it came out, okay, but I do know it was like the 2000. Fact check.
Google it.
When 13 going on 30 came out.
13 going on 30 came out in 2004.
Ew.
21 years ago. We birthed a whole human by then.
Yeah, we were.
I was 10 when it came out.
We weren't even 13.
Wow, that's why it was like such a.
Yeah, that's like
wow,
we were entering
and
like
she's
that.
in New York.
Yeah, yes. So we were entering like preteen, teenager, and that's why it was like
it was
they
very
hit
impactful.
The right demographic.
Yeah,
honestly.
they really did. Welcome everybody to Decaf Soul. My name is Cynthia, and this is
Amy. We're so excited to be talking about this episode. It's all about 30,
flirty, and thriving. How far into your 30s are you, Amy?
No, it's about to be 1 year that I've completed the 30 cycle.
I'm about to turn 32 in January.
Dude.
And it doesn't even feel real. Like, I feel the same. Like, I feel like I should be more adult than I am. Like, sometimes I'm like, I don't take things seriously enough. But maybe that's just like,
that's great though.
You know what's funny? I remember like working at one of the restaurants that I worked at and being around a bunch of the 30-year-old like bartenders and waitresses. And I remember because I was like 19, 20, just like out of college and being like, they all look so young. Like, I don't know why in my head 30 when I was younger looked a lot older.
So much older.
And then when I get into the world and I realize that these 30-year-old women look like they're in their 20s and they act like in their 20s. And I was like, wow, it was like a culture shock when I got out of college. And I was like, they're not that different than me. And then now I'm in that place. And there is like a bit of a stature that comes with the age, which is kind of nice that you get from people. And they're like, oh, you're finally an adult, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But I also feel like I'm not there yet. Do you know what I mean?
It's an interesting era, I will say. I too believed, obviously when you're young, you're like 30 years old, like you have a family, you have house, you have kids, you have a really great career, like you're solid, you're set, 401k.
That's what you expected it to look like.
And it just, I'm like 3 out of all those things.
And that's okay. Like everybody has their times and their processes and like I think it's like also a learning curve of like not being hard on yourself about wherever you are in life,
Oh, dude.
Because it's easy to
like
be
an
like,
everyday battle.
You can't compare. You can't be like, oh, well, look at this person doing all this stuff because then you're going to make yourself crazy,
Comparison will kill you. It will definitely kill you.
Definitely.
But so we were talking about a really big staple movie. I feel like in a lot of people, like,
our demographic,
our age, and that's 13 going on 30,
yes.
With the beautiful, lovely Jennifer Garner. That's her name. Okay, who also did Elektra. If anybody knows,
that was a great era for her.
It was like she was great.
Oh my god, so wow.
Yeah, like okay, that's like a totally other subject, but. She was great in either of those films. The 13 going on 30, I remember when it came out, we were not 13, but we were sort of embarking closer to that age group.
Came out in 2004.
Yeah, 04. And all I remember was just like, wow, what a great film. Like, it just basically explained what 30 was going to be about, you know? And it was, and obviously now it's a little different. Well, a lot different, actually. But.
Yeah. I mean, like her New York style life, her like, you know, like who's the editor for a magazine. I love that. That's always the New York like dream
like
job.
Go to, yeah,
like editor of a magazine,
like
Vogue,
director.
What was hers? I think hers was In Style or Cosmo. I don't know what. It's
it
one or the other. In Style or Cosmo.
It was one of those magazines,
or maybe it's a fake one, but it's like one of those.
Oh yeah, copyright.
You know, and so like, you know, there's a lot of those tropes of like the magazine person in New York, like Devil Wears Prada is the same thing, you know?
Devil Wears Prada. What an iconic film. I mean, it's just...
They're making a second one.
They are. I'm so scared about these like number 2 movies after first like
so long.
Such a long gap, and it's like, damn, this is either gonna like
bomb or it's gonna be good. But
I know
I have a low expectation of it. Even though it's like Meryl Streep and Anne Hathaway and whatever, but you know, like you're still like,
so that's the hook, right? Like the old characters are coming back, so like
it's probably gonna be good. It's gonna be a good story. It's gonna be fine. Finish whatever you were wondering.
Yeah,
that's the fun part. You're like, okay, like we made up a version maybe in our head of what happened to Meryl Streep's character, what happened to Anne Hathaway's character, right? But now we get an answer, which is like really fun. Like people have been wondering for years, so that's like really cool.
If that's the case, they should make a 13 going on 31, 13 going on 32, and so on.
Well, what would be a good nominator for 40? Like 4 going on 40, like. Like that's the only
that age 4 going on 40 is
I don't think that works.
Jump.
But it would be nice to have a second story to that. I guess, for
Where
real.
Is
because
Jenna Rink?
Because in the end
32?
of the movie, she's not the New York style girl. She's
not.
like living a completely different life, right? She's like,
which, oh my God, now that you make that point, because you're right, she does, you know, she ends up getting married to like her childhood sweetheart.
Yeah.
And they have a house, and it's like
white picket fence,
all of that, and it's just like gorgeous, right? Like it's so magical.
But then it's like a commentary on like, what do women want? Do they want the fun, crazy lifestyle, or do they want the white picket fence? And you're always, and now that we're in our 30s, there's this kind of like, because we're saying like, well, we don't have that flirty, fun, crazy 30 life, right? We have a very different 30 life, right? But it's still wonderful. There's like beautiful things in our version of our 30s, right? And so it's like, if you think about that, if you think of the movie as a whole and how it ends, it's like it is making commentary. What do women want? Like, what is their ideal life situation? And was it so bad, her life, when she was living as a single woman in New York? No. So why at the end of the movie is the better version her with the white picket fence?
When she's married and all that stuff. You're so right.
I never thought about that.
I think it's like it goes back, you know, to there's this whole phenomenon on social media that's called trad wives.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the hell? First of all, I was like, what the hell are trad wives? And then it's like traditional wives. And and these are women that are not even 30. These are women that are
so young.
There's like there's new studies or like not even studies, but like articles about like how younger people under 30 are just going back to that. I don't want to even say traditional, because it is what it is, but they're like getting married younger. Yeah. They're having kids younger. And I wonder if it's because they see that in society or like the economic times that we're in, like it's just going to be so much harder if you start later in life.
It is an interesting, I don't know, because like culturally speaking, it's interesting. In America, maybe in the United States, with the 20-year-olds to 30-year-olds, like maybe it feels like a new phenomenon, but maybe it's not really a new phenomenon. I think we got so used to the pace of life, and we wanted to have fun, and we wanted to grow, and we wanted to be business people and whatever. And so now there's this shift where you're like, wait, not everybody wants to adopt that lifestyle. There's a lot of people in this. We go back to the same thing for the idea of like in the movie, in 13 going on 30. you end up seeing both versions of that, right? You see her
Mm-hmm.
becoming the traditional housewife with the white picket fence, and then you see the dream life. That's the dream life, because in the end, that's what it all is her living in New York, being a single woman, right?
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. I think it's very interesting. I think there's something beautiful about raising your own kids, about there's you know, mother is mother, and there's
Mm.
nothing more important than that, especially when your kids are young. And so I appreciate that. In that sense, I think it's a beautiful thing that there's young people that want to have that lifestyle. That's okay. I think like it gets a little muddy when when it turns into like, oh, like I don't want that, like I don't want a hustler kind of woman. And like you'll
Mm.
see comments like that on social media.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
it's like, I remember one time one guy was like, oh, I'm so glad I got a trad wife and not a hustler wife. And I was like, what? I'm like, because
What?
like I also you do work hard at home. Like you're not like sitting and doing nothing. Like you're
Oh, you're
cooking,
always
cleaning, taking care of the kids. Like that's not like, if you paid someone to do that, that would be hundreds of dollars a week.
Yeah.
So for whatever reason, when
And
when
and
your
that's
wife is
just
the one doing it,
right. And that's just us, like, cause like it I like a clean house.
yeah,
Like, I like to come home. I like to have like the sheets are washed, you know, like there's no dishes in the sink. Like it's just that it creates that nice peacefulness in the home that you work so hard to get.
yeah.
Like it's
Like
there's
the world
nothing.
is loud and crazy, and
Yeah.
you want some sort of like calmness at home. That's also a new thing. Like I didn't used to care about those things. I would just like let things slide or whatever. And now I'm
Mm.
like, sometimes I get home and I just want my house to. Now I understand why my mom,
Mm.
like before we left, she had to leave everything in
Oh,
order,
girl.
right? Like, but when I was younger, I'd be like, can we just leave the house? Just like
Oh,
just
yeah.
figure it out when we come back. She's like, no, I don't want to come back to a mess. And now I'm like literally rushing before I leave, trying to clean everything because I don't want to come home to a mess.
Yeah.
You know, that's the funny thing about
Does
growing
something
up.
to
But
your
yeah, you
levels.
start to kind of like being like, oh, that thing that my mom was always saying, like now I'm doing it. And it's like, it's not always a bad thing. Like
No.
sometimes it's a really
I
good
love
thing.
that. I love that, you know, yes, at the time was it annoying? Absolutely. But especially like in I know, I don't know about you, but like in Latin culture, like households, like my mom, 7 a.m. Saturday morning, get up, wake up, blasting this salsa music. And I'm like, oh God, she's cleaning again.
Oh my
And
God.
it's
At
like
least
every
your mom
weekend.
blasted it. Sometimes my mom would just be loud
In
with
silence or
like the boom, boom,
oh,
moving everything
and the
around,
cabinet
like
and the
cabinets.
plates.
So
And I'm like, that's the alarm
and
clock.
that's how we know we have to start moving. Because
Yep.
if you spend too much time in bed, you're gonna get yelled at. So
Yep.
you can't just like relax for a little bit, but that's fine, you know. And
Yeah.
like now I see myself, and I'm like, oh, here I like. We really do recreate certain things, but the older we get, some of those things we recreate them because they're necessary, because you
Oh,
want
yeah.
to do things that you want, like things to be a certain way in your
Yeah.
home and whatever. But
Yeah.
in that perspective, do you feel like there's part of your 20s mindset that you wish you could have left behind sooner?
Mm. So I spent a majority of my 20s actually with you,
Yeah,
which is funny because we know we met in school and like
college.
we traveled together. So I would say I felt like I had a really good 20s for the most part. Obviously, it came with lots of challenges. But would I want to carry anything over, or like you mean leave behind?
More of your mindset, not so much things you were doing,
know-
but like what were things that you believed in your 20s that you either left behind and you were like, this is not working for me and I need to grow up, or something that you were like, you know, I'm going to continue to grow in this direction.
Something in my 20s that I remember, I had a very hard time with navigating relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not even romantic relationships. It's actually like friendships. Which is funny because I hear that a lot lately as women, as anybody, but particularly as women when we get older. We either have our lifers, which is like our lifelong friends from childhood or whatever.
Yeah.
And like a close knit of like group of people. But I think for me in my 20s, I didn't really have like too many friends. I was friendly. I definitely feel like I was a people pleaser. in my 20s.
Okay.
So that's something that I'm trying to leave behind. And I think that has been happening recently going into my 30s, just because I feel more sure of myself, who I am as a woman, what to identify. And honestly, I'm just tired. It's
That's always
I'm
consensus.
tired.
Like, I'm tired.
I don't want, like, if you don't like it, then y'all can go respectfully. But
yeah.
it's like I just don't have the capacity, the mental energy to just make sure that everything is okay, when at the end of the day, that's on them. Like, that's the energy. If you're coming in with a certain type of energy, with the fuchi face or something, or like, fuchi, like basically like a stank face, honestly. And you're not about it. It's like, I'm not gonna feed onto that. Like, if that's who you are, great. If that's how you're feeling, great. Like, you got some other shit going on, then that's great too. But I don't want to have to feel responsible that I have to fix things for you.
Yeah, I see that. Mine was more like not so much people pleasing, but I didn't understand when someone didn't not like love me, but when they just didn't like me, like, and I'd be like, and I hadn't had any interaction with someone, for example.
That's a big one.
And they would just like have an off feeling about you. And that used to throw me off so bad. And it would be someone I didn't know, I didn't care about, but I'd be like, if we haven't had a bad interaction, why don't you like me? I used to really feel that way. I used to be like the injustice of it all. Like, you don't know me. Like, you don't know how nice I am. Like, how could you have this odd feeling about me? The older I get, whenever I sense that from people, now I just think it's funny, because I'm like, and what's funny is that now that I just don't care, like when I get that sense that like that bad vibe from people, and then they notice that I don't care, eventually they start to break the ice.
Wow.
At work, at least, it's happened a few times where I'm like, I don't acknowledge people, especially if I feel that like wall of ice.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, first of all, I've never done a bad thing to you in this. Like,
yeah, like
I
why
used
are you
to
acting
feel
like that?
guilty about it. I'd be like, what did I do wrong? Now I'm like,
wow.
I actually literally have never spoken to you, so I don't know why you have that
See,
weird vibe.
Okay, but
so it is a people pleasing thing.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit different.
Yeah,
than yours.
I get that. Yeah.
But it's like, now I'm like, if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. I don't gotta prove anything
You gotta let them chill in their own corner, to be honest.
Yeah, and it is a nice feeling of being like, and then the validating feeling of them, especially because it's happened in situations with work where I've just let people be who they are, feel how they feel, and I'm just who I am. And then eventually they kind of warm up to me, because they realized there was never any issue. Because I didn't feed the dragon. You know what I mean?
And that is what I'm saying. It's like, I think that goes back to like your own self. Like, you've done the work, you've done the growing up thing. Some people are not there. Some people aren't there. And it's like,
maybe.
you wanna like help them out a little bit. You wanna be like, so like, what's going on? Like, tell me. Like, and if you don't want to tell me, like, how can you, it's almost like you gotta read the room a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to navigate. Going back to the whole like for relationships, for me, it's interesting for me to like navigate those types of relationships now, because I know right off the bat the people that are okay for the most part with themselves, and that they kind of vibe in the same frequency with me. But then there's some people that still need a little help, and that's okay. That's all right. That's fine.
Yeah, everybody's going through their journey.
Yeah,
I think also that's a part of growing up, realizing that maybe people seem angry, maybe people seem annoyed at you, but maybe they're just like annoyed at something. Maybe they're just having a rough day.
Generally never
maybe
know.
they're going through the worst day of their life, and they're not crying about it, but they're angry, right?
Yeah.
And so you don't know. And that's another thing I think that's come with age, where I'm like, I have a lot more patience for people's bad attitude. It's very interesting, because before what would happen was I would just get nervous. I'd be like, what's wrong?
You
Let's
start
try to
having
figure
like
it
a little
out.
mini
Like,
panic
I want to
attack.
help you. Now it's like, like, find your flow, figure it out. I'm here. I'm not going to make it worse for you. But I if I don't know and I don't know you, I don't have any obligation, but I'm always here. The door's always open for lightness and goodness, right? But I don't have to like make everyone better, right?
You can't.
It's not
There's
your
no
job,
room.
and it's like it's an internal thing that people have to do. And I, I kind of took that weight off of myself of like wanting things to be okay with everybody. It's not perfect. It's not 100%. I think like there's different levels to it. I think it's a little harder in like relationships, like not the friend ones, but
the romantic
ones. I think, that's a learning curve. But, we all have to go through our
ups
situations.
and downs.
Yeah, like we all have to just live life and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so
I get it, babe.
Would you say you feel like you're thriving? Your 30s are thriving?
I am thriving.
Oh, I love it.
Was I failing last week? Absolutely.
Oh, why? What do you mean by that?
So it's 30. I love milestone birthdays. Like, I'm one of those girlies. Like, I love the big, like, 13, 21, 30, 40, 50. So 30, I was so excited to be turning 30, and it was great. And, I changed some things in my life, career-wise, like, I was ready to embark on new journeys, meet new people, just, go back to things that I feel like mattered to me and things that I wanted to grow into. And then, bam, something like really bad happened in the middle of my 30th year. And it changed my whole life around for me.
Mm-hmm.
Some people might think, oh, whatever, it's brush off the shoulder. But it changed a lot for me because I had based that very thing. I had based my persona, now I say it and now I can say it, around that very thing. So when that thing crumbles, then you crumble.
Mm-hmm.
So I was crumbling hard every day. And then I realized, you know what? I'm going to have to pick myself back up like I always do. And I did. And don't get me wrong, there's been like nights and days, a lot of nights where I'm like, oh my God, I'm a failure. I can't believe I did. Like, I can't believe this happened to me. Like, just like, woe is me type of thing, and whatever. I'm allowed to feel that, like, whatever. And I'm like, no, you know what? There's got to be other things that I can do.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did. I kind of shifted my perspective and my focus to whatever skills or practices that I acquired and that thing that had me steady before. I'm just going to use that and just use it everywhere else in other things and other projects. And that's kind of one of the reasons why the podcast came alive too. Yeah. And it's just, it has been a long journey. And now I realize now that I allowed myself to fall continuously. Like, girl, I was in the depths, in the deep depths. And I just found a light somewhere. Many lights, not even one light. I found many lights. And it was up to me to just like reach out.
Yeah.
Nobody can do it for me. Nobody was going to like, hand me this something else, this new thing, or I have to do it. You have to be the one to be able to do it. And I feel like a lot of women, at least the women that I like to surround myself with, have that same energy in whatever thing that they're doing at the moment. And I've reached out to those women, and that's one thing that I really enjoyed about my 30th year. I still just turned 30. There's a sisterhood out there. There's like a community of women who will think like you, and just uplift you in times of like turmoil, in times of like, I can't do this by myself. And that's what the hell was the question again?
Do you feel like you're thriving in your 30s? So that's what
short answer.
Yes.
Now I am. Yeah.
Yes.
Now I am. Yeah. Will there be other moments?
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where all of life is an ebb and flow, and not everything is perfect all the time. But there's this saying that's like,
do you feel like you're thriving?
I was about to say. So there's this saying that is like, comparison is the thief of joy. Mm-hmm. And when we're doing this thing, when we're getting to a certain age where we see other people reaching milestones that maybe we haven't, or you know, we had a whole different plan and set up in our heads, and it just turned out completely different.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you're not even comparing yourself to someone. You're comparing yourself to the version of yourself you thought you were going to be.
Girl, say that.
And so, and even, and that's not real. That's not living in the present. And that's the thing of like realizing and coming to terms with the fact that that sadness is just a waste of energy because you are here, you're alive, you're breathing, you have, well, I mean, in my case, I have all my limbs, I have my health, I can do anything I want. And I have to cherish that because not everybody has that. And so, you know, learning, reframing your brain to just accept things as they are. You know, I feel like being able to do that feels like thriving. I don't feel like I'm 100% there, but I feel like I'm working on it. And working on that feels like bigger than not what it felt like before when I was just like you said, like sometimes we're in a hole, you know. But when you make certain realizations about things and you're like, it's okay that things didn't happen that way or whatever. You're like, okay, like, well, what's next? And kind of being like accepting what things as they are and kind of just like loving yourself as you are, that to me is thriving too. Of course, you know, like we want things to be great all the time, but they can't.
Perfect.
Yeah. It's just not realistic.
Because we're not perfect. So
no,
it doesn't
no,
make sense.
Of course not. And so I think like thriving is different for everybody. And it's going to change as time happens and like life happens, and there's going to be like ebbs and flows, you know, but that's just life, you know, that's part of it and part of growing up. And, you know, like
I'm curious. So what was your favorite time of your 20s?
My favorite time of my 20s.
That you feel like, this is what it means to be 20, 21, 25.
I think like a few years after graduation, I kind of was like, I don't know, I was really like, you know, there's this power to young women that we sometimes associate with beauty and getting male attention. But if we take that out of the equation, if we take the male attention and the need to be beautiful out of the equation, we are so powerful during that time. We're so young and we are just like our womanhood is like growing so strong, and we get so lost like in the I wanna be beautiful, I wanna be seen, I wanna be whatever, right? And like I wish I could take in that energy and not put it onto that situation and just been like in my glow of life, because there was like in my like mid-20s, I would say, like I really felt it. I felt that power behind me, and it was very like exciting, and I'd never felt that way before, and I like it was just different, you know, and I had, you know, it was like exciting, right? And I think to anyone in their 20s,
you were hot in that. You still are.
But it was just like, I think like I would have loved to be able to harness that and do more with it instead of just that. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now it feels more like, you know how like your 20s feel like a big fire flame and your 30s feel like the blue hottest ember. Do you know what I mean? That. Because like your 20s, you're just like you're all loud over and proud, and you're all over the place. And but 30s like start to slow, but things start to slow down. But there's still a fire in you. There's nothing. It didn't go away. It's just changed, you know. Yeah. And actually, the hottest flames are the bluest, right? And so it's the crazy biggest flames are loud and scary, but actually the hottest fire is the most calm, right? If you think about it, it's that blue, slow flame.
This is why we're called Decaf Soul, right?
Yes. Decaf Soul, baby.
Again, it's just full circle all
That's
over
right.
again.
What about yourself? What part of your 20s was your favorite?
When we traveled.
That was actually one of my
That was like if there is a checklist of what you should do in your 20s, I feel like we fulfilled that. The time that we traveled was the best time ever. Because it wasn't just the fact of like we're here, we're in Paris, we're in Italy. It wasn't even just that. It was just more like we made it.
Yeah, we made it. Like, we were on our own. We were exploring the world together and on our own.
It was hard to get to that point. Like,
yeah, because like money and life and school, and you got to kind of like a lot of sacrifice. Like, it's different for other people, but you know, like
it was
for us, for example, it was just not like, it's just like one of those things where like, if I don't think it was like it was meant to happen because it did, but it felt like it wasn't going to happen, right? It felt like such a far away thing that only the like rich students with the ability to do that could go and study abroad. Like, I never thought I would study abroad.
And I remember we were in one of the classrooms. It was just you and I was in the middle of filling out the application because I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just apply because there's no one hurting.
Oh my God, I remember getting that email saying you got in.
It was like receiving the Hogwarts letter.
I know it was. It was so awesome.
And I remember. Okay, so wait, because I do want to talk about that one, that point, because I was applying. You're like, what are you doing? And you sat next to me, and I'm like, I'm applying for the study abroad, and those words coming out of my mouth was just so foreign to me because I'm like, what the hell am I doing? Like, I'm a poor kid from Elizabeth, New Jersey. There's no way that I can afford this. There's no way that they'll even accept me into this program. Like, what are we doing? And then I was like, you should apply too. And then your face was like, no. And I was like,
yeah, like it was like so beyond me. You know what I mean?
Exactly. But you did. You did. And then what happened?
We were out there.
Then we got the Hogwarts letter.
Yeah, man. That was such a beautiful time. That was also, I think, between my senior year of college, and those like few years in the mid-20s, like those times were magical. I lived in New York, somewhere in the middle of that.
I know,
but that was like a lot harder than I.
You were really living 13 going on 30 at 25. Wow,
I was really living. Yeah, and you know, it was like a dream. It was like a dream life for a little bit. It wasn't perfect, but it was fun, and I learned a lot. And there was a lot of heartbreak, but there was also just like living, you know, and you have to live.
Oh my God. Do you remember Broad City?
Broad City.
Okay, we can't talk about being like our 20s and not mention Broad City.
Because it feels like that sometimes.
Broad City. I don't know if any listeners, I don't know if you know what Broad City is, but it was a show on Comedy Central, which I don't even know if Comedy Central exists.
Yeah.
Still do?
I'm pretty sure.
Well, it was a show on Comedy Central of two young girls in their 20s. And they've been friends like for a long time. They actually met in New York. Yeah. They met in New York, and they were just going through life in New York. But it is so funny because the shit that they would do.
They're just like broke. They're just trying to figure life out.
Yeah, it was crazy.
There's like no direction, but there is some direction. Like one of them is an artist, but she's just like a hot. Like, it's just like, yeah, that's what it felt like. It was like, I have an idea of what I want to do, but I don't know how to do it. Like, you know, and then there's all these there's all this other noise. There's the boys and the this and and the friends, and you want to be popular and you get FOMO. Oh my God, that was the first place.
Oh my God.
I think Broad City was the first place I heard FOMO from.
Me too. That's probably where it originated from.
I guess maybe.
Fear of missing out.
Yeah, fear of missing out. And like, you know, and I just think like that was such a good show.
Yeah.
They made it they really captured the craziness of it all, you know.
God,
and
totally.
Obviously they're crazier because it's funny and it's a comedy, but that like where you can't really place it. Like you're up in the air. You're somewhere in the ether trying to figure life out.
They're so unique. Okay, I'm going to say
funny.
I don't know if you remember this one episode, but there was one episode where so the characters' names are Abby and Alana. Okay, so Abby is a little more like chill, more reserved.
Kind of doesn't have her things together, but she kind of has it more together than
Alana.
Oh,
Alana was all over the place. She was crazy. She was all over the place. But I love that because it just balanced their friendship so perfectly. But what's funny in this particular episode is that it was either like Abby getting high or drunk or something like that. Probably both. And she had a whole second life. She was like Val from like the Speakeasy Club, and Alana never knew, and Alana was like it was her dream come true.
Yeah, because she was like, Abby, I thought, because Abby was always so like chill, and calm and quiet, and then she was like this like
And then Val's like,
Loud,
Alana,
beautiful
like,
women.
you're
Yeah.
my favorite one. Like, it was just so good. I'm like, wow, this is perfection.
I think everybody should watch Broad City.
Everyone watch Broad City, like, even if you're not a
But
woman in your
that's
20s.
a show in your 20s. I think like
True. What about the shows that are like Sex in the City?
I was gonna say Sex
like
and the City.
very in your 30s.
They say that the first season of Sex and the City, they're all like, well, not all of them, but Carrie is 31.
She is.
So
She is.
and then I think it was like a meme or something. And it was like, if you think about it, like the first season of Carrie's like that we see if she's 31. So if you just started your 30s, you know, that's just the beginning, you know, and we have this terrible feeling when we get to 30 from 20 that like it's the end or something. But the point of that post was like, this is just the beginning. Your life is just beginning. Like there's a whole new bunch of adventures that you're about to experience.
Wow.
And you're going to experience them with a bit of a different brain because, you know, like you're older.
Yeah.
Totally. What else is another good 30 show?
I don't know.
I'm thinking like Sex and the City, but
Listeners, if there's any like 30 type show out there, just let us know in the comments or DM us because it's just, we can't think of it right now. Because those are the two big things that are.
Have you ever watched Fleabag?
Oh my goodness. Phoebe Waller-Bridges, is that her?
Yeah, that Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
That show. Is she 30 in that one?
Yeah, she's in her 30s, I think.
What a show. That was funny.
It's so
her
funny.
Her crush
and
on the priest
so dark.
was relatable.
It's so like,
there's some hot priests out there.
Yeah, I'm sure there's
hot fathers. And he was like feeding. That show was crazy.
That show is so good because, you know, with the other shows like Sex and the City or whatever, there's this kind of like glamorized version of life.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the cool thing about Fleabag is that it's just like you making the worst possible decisions, like being the worst kind of human being. And like, and then having to deal with the consequences of being crappy sometimes.
It was a good show.
Because like
good.
Sometimes we also make bad decisions, you know? And like that's the cool thing. I love that show because it just shows the dark side of things and like in a funny way that's very like
humor. I think there's somebody said this one time and I'll never forget it because it definitely explained. I think women who are funny are so powerful. There's something.
Why do you think that?
I don't know what it is. I think when one movie like Bridesmaid, we're talking about 13 going on 30. I think another good movie about whether that's a little like mid or late 30s is Bridesmaids because it really shows
right, like there's different levels of life, like
the hatred of the other woman that she has being jealous, like, and then her being jealous of that friend, like it's that tracks.
Being jealous of friendships in your 30s.
Being jealous of friendships in your 30s.
Like comparing yourself to the very successful one that's doing great versus you whose business just got broken down.
Yeah,
you know
like
what I
if
mean?
you haven't seen Bridesmaids, then like, I don't know what you're doing. But like,
but this again, there's that comparison that we do, you know? Like, oh, it's such a bad thing, but
those women in that film, like they're comedians. They're like, they are so beyond hilarious. Like, And when you see them in interviews, because I see like these women that are they made their career out of being hilariously funny. They're so calm. Yeah. They're so chill. They're so like they're not like in character. Like they're not in character. Like they've done that. Like that's what they do, and then they just are back to themselves. And I think that's power. There's power in that. There's power in owning like what you can be versus like who you really are.
Do you feel like the older you get, you either dismantled boundaries or have you built more boundaries?
Oh, I have definitely dismantled boundaries.
Okay, cool.
I am now learning to build boundaries. So what I mean by that is, you know, I think with female friendships in particular, even with our friendship, if we're being completely honest, there have been moments where I had to put boundaries because whether you knew it or not, I don't know if you noticed that, but there are moments where I feel like I had to put a certain type of boundary because I knew that either I wasn't doing okay and I couldn't be for my friend. I couldn't be there for my friend, the way that I feel like she wanted me to be.
Yeah.
Or the other person wasn't doing okay. And I couldn't give her, again, it's almost like same outcome. I couldn't give that person what they wanted, whether if I was feeling bad or if they were the ones feeling bad. And then, so I think I had to change my mindset on that a little bit, because I had to figure out, no, like, Amy, what is it that you need right now in this moment for yourself? Because if you're not going to cater to yourself, then you're kind of like, you're not going to be there for the rest of the people in your life.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
And I think me putting boundaries is so important because I care so much about the person, and I just want them to be okay, and I want them to go on this journey of like self-discovery or however you want to call it.
Yeah.
But, I have to constantly remind myself that they have to be the ones to do it. Like, I cannot do it for them. And I feel like a lot of people that I know can be like that. And I don't know. I think I'm still learning that. I think I'm still learning how to put those boundaries down.
I think the consensus is that we don't have the answers.
No,
that
we
like
don't.
maybe we thought we would by now, but we're okay with it.
Yeah,
I think that's like the peace of mind that you start to achieve. And it's nice because not everybody gets there, right? Where you're like, this is okay how it is. I want things to be better. I'm going to work towards making things better. I'm going to work towards growth in my life. Sure, right? I want things to be healthier. I want things to be better, right? Whatever, right? But let's just accept things as they are. And I think that's a big, like, at least on my part, I feel like that's part of where the growth has happened, where I'm like,
yeah.
Okay, this isn't easy or like whatever, but it's okay. Like, it's going to happen. It's going to work itself out.
If it takes you a million times, like if you feel like oftentimes I feel like you can get to that point where like that aha moment, like you get it, right? And it all makes sense, and all you have to do is just do the thing that you need to do. But then when you get to that point, you don't do it, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And I think it's like that's part of the process. No matter how many times you get to that point and you feel like you can't go through with it, it's okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Because at the end of the day, you know what you got to do.
That's right, girl.
Talk about it. Talk about it. What else do we got going on? Ooh, are we still? Ooh, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
I'm going to ask you a question because you've been asking me all the questions. Do you feel like, how do you feel like you find the balance between peace and progress?
I think it's about, again, accepting things as they are. It's about
hard.
just like kind of just being like, okay, I want things to be a certain way, and they are going to get there. However I get there, I'll find a way. I don't know. It's just having trust. It's just having trust that things will figure themselves out. Because like there's a lot of doubt when the younger you are of like what's gonna happen next. Who's gonna be in your life?
Yeah.
Who's gonna stay?
Yeah.
Who's gonna go?
Like you have a plan.
What
almost.
job?
Yeah.
What this? What that? And then the older you get, you kind of have to either keep being that way and never feeling at peace, or just kind of rolling with the punches and taking things as they go, and just like trusting that, okay, it's just believing that things are going to be okay. Because like and I say this sometimes to my friends, and then they're like, this is a bit harsh, but it's like, well, the other option is like the worst thing that could happen is you die. Okay, well, maybe not the worst thing, like maybe, but like
we're done.
But that's what I'm saying. It sounds very dark,
and that's
right?
it for this episode of Decaf.
But it's like, that's it. Like, just keep going. Like, keep going. Keep pushing. Like, sometimes and you know what? Sometimes the dark seasons of your life are there for a reason. Sometimes you have to go through something really bad to get to the other side. You have to just go through it. And like sometimes I tell my patients because they're open heart patients, right?
Oh my God.
So they're like
Crazy.
in pain. They can't move for a few days.
Jeez.
You know, they just got their sternum ripped open
Oh.
and a new heart. You know, like it's a big deal. It's a big surgery, and they are in so much pain the first few days.
Wow.
And you could say, and I think it's so interesting how people everybody treats their pain differently. So this is a very like visceral version of what we're talking about, right? This is like a very real life version of what we're talking about.
Totally got it.
Everybody takes their pain differently. There's some people, and they're all going through the same thing. They just got their sternum ripped open, right? Some people, for 2 nights, they don't even move. They don't even pee. We have to force them to stand up to pee because they're in so much pain that they do not move a muscle. Usually the men, they are just like inwardly probably screaming, but they're not saying anything out loud. They don't want you to touch them. They don't want anything. There's other people that are literally crying and screaming the whole time. Like the whole time. They're like, I need this. I need pain meds. I need this. I'm hurting. Everything. You move them a little bit. And you don't know how to take care of them, and you don't know how to handle them. And then there's other people that are somewhere in the middle where they're hurting, but they're kind of taking it with like a kind of like a funny grace, and they're smiling and laughing through it, even though it's rough, right? And like watching that happen and realizing that like we all are going through our own battles, and we're all going to experience pain differently, and we're going to take it differently, and we're going to learn different things from it. But a lot of the times, like my patients will be like, it hurts. And like some people will be like, I'm sorry. But I stopped saying sorry because there's nothing to be sorry about. You're going to have to go through it. So now I'm like, I know, hon, you're just going to have to go through it.
Wow.
And usually for whatever reason, that seems to not calm them down, but like, I don't know.
I think it helps. No, I think
it kind of gets you in a different headspace where you're like, because they're going to be there. They get like, being in so much pain. Let's just talk about it, not emotionally, like real physical pain, right? It's exhausting. It's scary. You start to wonder if you're ever going to feel normal again. If you just, we can just transfer that real life pain into emotional pain, right? You start to really question, like, am I always going to hurt this bad? I could see it in their eyes. They're like, is it going to get better? They asked that. And it's only been a day, 24 hours since their surgery. I'm like, I promise you in 3 days from now, you're going to be walking and you're going to be fine. It's going to hurt like hell, but you're going to be okay. You have to just like, and you tell them that. And I used to be like, oh, I'm sorry. Now I talk to them like, you're going to be okay. This is going to hurt. You're laying down because whatever. I'll be like, this what we're about to do is going to hurt really bad, but then it's going to pass. And then they're like, okay. And then they breathe through it. And then like doing that constantly with patients all the time, I've started to like realize that that's kind of how life is.
Whoa. Sometimes
you're going to have to hurt sometimes. You're going to have to cry and scream, and it's going to be terrible, but you have to have the sure, like you have to be so sure that it's going to end, because like bad things happen and they end, and good things happen and they end, and that's life. And like that's okay, and having and like accepting that is a big deal. Like, you see when people are kind of like, okay, or like after I'm like, oh, they're like, they lay down and they're breathing and they're physically, I'm like, I promise you, just keep breathing in and out through your nose. It's gonna go away in 5 minutes. And then they'll be like, oh, I feel better. I was like, I told you.
Sometimes you need a little help. Sometimes you need a little guidance.
Yeah, sometimes you need someone to guide you through that terrible process.
Always.
And that's the part of having a village, right? Like sometimes, like I did this really bad thing in my 20s where I just cut the whole world off. I did it a lot. I cut you off. I cut a bunch of friends off. Anybody that's still my friend, God bless you guys, because like I literally would disappear for months, not ask you how you're doing. I also wasn't telling you how I was doing, so it's also like
you were going through it.
Yeah, and so like, but now I just had the thought. I'm sorry, I'm like overpowering this conversation.
What? But no overpowering here whatsoever.
I just had the thought, like, because we're growing up. I was like, I don't ever. I like when I do have kids, inshallah, when I have them, I don't want to do that again. I don't want to close myself off because I know it's going to be hard. I know, but I also know that a child takes a village.
Let me counter that. I think it's okay for you to do that when you get to a certain, not in the sense of like closing, like, maybe not in the same way you did at 20.
Exactly. That's why. But part of me fears that of doing that again because I know I closed the world off, before. And I've done it so much, but right? Over and over again.
You did, but I think that's the point of like. Sure, you can do that again. Like that's the part of boundaries that I'm saying. Like,
but it's also a boundary I'm putting on myself of not doing it to the point where I don't reach out for help, because that's what I was doing. I wasn't reaching out for help.
Okay.
I would just like close
Okay.
myself off into my cocoon and be in misery by myself, not ask you how you were doing, which also is kind of crappy, but also not asking for help. Right. So it's twofold. I'm not asking you how you're doing, and now you, just like in general.
Yeah.
But like outside in the world, people are like I've lost so many friends. That was a hard thing of growing up too. Of like, I am a little bit strange in the way where I kind of like recede into myself and disappear. And I used to feel so guilty about it, because I'd be like, like I love you as a person. I just can't be around you right now.
That's where you need to find the balance.
Yeah.
And that's the
whole point. That's what we're getting
boundaries.
there. Yeah.
I was trying to say balance.
Yeah.
That's where you need to find the balance, because it's okay that you have moments in your life where you want to be a cocoon and you just want to shut out the world. But just remember that there's still like, you still have that village, like you said.
Yeah.
You still have that team to support you. You have a team. You have that team. However, whether it's your family, whether it's your significant other, your loved ones, your friends, you still have that team to support you. And it's just finding that balance. Sure, you can be in your cocoon for like, 4 days out of the week. But that one day out of that work week, you can just be like, I'm going to go see my mom. I'm going to go see my family. I'm going to go do this podcast. So it's just about balance.
It is about not getting stuck in your holes, I guess, if you want to call them that. You know, it's just about.
I get it though. I used to be really angry.
It's true.
I think I am still, but no, I remember that, like when we would have our funks, because like we're cute and friendly now, but when
life happens,
guys,
we had our times.
We would be yelling at each other in the streets. That's
oh my god, so
literally
funny,
in the streets,
bro. Like
what are you doing, man?
Like, we were going to a concert. This is so funny. Do you remember we were going to the Caliucci's concert and you were like so mad at me about something?
Yeah, I don't know why.
I don't remember what it was. I just remember
that.
you being so mad at me, and
I don't remember either. And I yelled at you.
Yeah, but it was never.
And then you yelled at me back.
But I never. I don't. It's so funny that I have no idea what we were mad at each other.
Me either.
About.
And then we got to the concert, we're like, yeah!
Like it was so like
so stupid.
But that's just like, again, that's just, if you're a real, if it's a real friendship, you can have that
for as long as we've been friends.
Yeah, and even if it's a short friendship, if you can do that with someone, if you can be real with them,
if you feel comfortable to be doing. Yeah, I agree.
That's a crazy and a unique thing that you don't get with everybody. You know, so if you have those kinds of friendships where you can be like angry and tell them the truth, and then just go back to being like having the time of your life, that's something everyone should cherish, because out in the world, like,
not recommending the fighting.
No, not recommending the fighting, but it is nice to be able to be real with people.
Yeah,
because once you go out more into the world, you realize that you have to be a little bit careful with some people.
Yeah,
you have to
talk about that.
You have to walk on eggshells. You have to make sure you don't say the wrong thing, because they might go say it to somebody, and it's like,
I know that. So okay. There are moments where you're right, because sometimes I feel like I tend to have like, I don't want to say no filter. I'm just very direct.
Yeah, you are.
Okay. And when I hear something that I'm like, that doesn't sound right, then I'll say it. But it never comes from a bad place. It'll always come from like, I'm just trying to tell you that maybe that's not the way to go about things. You know, that's just a different perspective, a different opinion. Yeah. When I was a lot younger, I was definitely more angrier about it. I was definitely more like, you're wrong and I'm right. Like it was, I've learned to not do that, you know, so that's
evolution.
Also something. Yeah. So, and I've actually learned that a lot from you, because you're so soft.
I don't know why that's funny. You always tell me that, and I always think like, am I?
She's never, when she's okay, guys, when Cynthia's angry, like, okay, I always make I always joke every time Cynthia and I go out to eat at restaurants, and the waiter or the waitress is super nice, super friendly, and like is having a conversation, and Cynthia's just not having it. Like, and I'm always the one being like, yeah, like that was great, or like that's a good suggestion. And Cynthia's like at the menu like this, like she's just looking down at the menu, and she's just looking up at the waiter, and she's like, yeah. And I'm like, dude, be nicer. Like these people are bringing you your food. And then what's worse is that when the food comes out, and it's not what Cynthia ordered or there's something missing, she turns into a ferocious tiger. Like, she gets so mad.
Wait.
And but the waiter doesn't hear. Like, I'm the one that has to hear it. I'm the one that has. She's like, I don't like this. I can't believe they messed up my order. And I'm like,
you're making me sound so bad.
dude,
Okay, so I worked in restaurants a lot.
Okay, but I learned that. I learned from you. I'm like, you know what? Maybe she's right. Like, you're paying for your food. You're paying for it. But I guess it's the way you went about it where I was like, ooh.
I think it's, okay, so when my first jobs were restaurants. I was a bus girl for the first time. I've been a hostess. I worked behind the bar. I did everything that you could think of as far as bussing tables, like the whole thing. I've done it, right? Those were my first jobs. And so I think what happens is that we become a bit of a bridezilla, but like the version of when you're getting served, because you're like, I have done this for years. I know the right way to do it. I know, and it's like a bratty thing. Sometimes I have to stop myself, and it's because like you and other friends have pointed it out, but it's also like a thing that like it's just funny because it's like,
you're so mean.
I'm not mean. I've never been mean. I'm just like, it's the one time where it's so funny where I'm like, well, this is how it should be, because I know that that's how it should be. And I know that's how it should be because I did it for years. So you're doing it wrong.
Oh my God.
Like, but that's it's not mean. I'm just like, can you please get it together? So like,
oh my God. But okay.
I think you just heard it. You just heard that attitude, right? That's what it is.
And it's the faces, bro.
I've never been able to control that. I have I have a very expressive face. Like, I could be like so silent and thinking that I have it together, and I'm like, but I think that I'm like, I think I can't help it. Like, I don't know what to do.
That was so
like
good.
I could be so calm and collected, but then oh my God, like we have like huddles in the morning before a shift at the hospital, right before we start, and like the management is saying one thing or the other, and I'll be like,
oh no, girl.
And I can't help myself. I also don't care because I'm like, I don't care because sometimes it's like, stop, like you're saying ridiculous things. But again, it's that kind of like bite that I have sometimes that I have no idea where it comes from.
I love
because I don't live in that. I don't live in that
no,
space.
No, you don't. And I need you to live more in that space. God, what in the world? But I love that.
Remember, like I would say things when we were at Drew, and everybody would be like, oh yeah, she's right.
And I'm like, she's right.
Yeah, and I would be like, I'd be surprised that everybody was surprised that I would say that thing. And I'd be like, but it's just the truth.
Because like you didn't, I don't know.
It's one of the, you know what it is? I just like analyze everything.
But that's okay though. I really love your soft side. I do, because especially like when it was like us at school, I feel like a lot of people deemed me the very angry one or like very tough one. Somebody said something. What did you say? Oh. Do you know that show Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
Yeah. And they compared
I
you to the girl.
remember someone said that I reminded them of Rosa. And she was the mean cop. Like, no nonsense. Like, she was just me. And that you were, oddly enough, Amy. That was the character's name, Amy. And she wasn't as mean as Rosa, but she was more like quirky and funny and cool and like softer, I guess. I'm like, first of all, we're not that at all. Like, you're completely wrong. But it's just it was nice to have that balance from you, at least for me. Exterior, what's the word? Like exterior wise, exteriorly.
Yo no sé.
We promise we went to school. We promise we went to college.
I'm not illiterate. Oh, where are we at? Are you okay? Girl. Let's see.
We could talk all day about being 30s, and I actually have one question. So we talked a lot about our 20s because we've been there, done that. Now we're like entering our 30s. We talked a little bit about that. What do you look forward to? After 30.
I mean, maybe not after, maybe during, maybe after. Mm-hmm. I look forward to just being even more sure of myself. I look forward to feeling like it's not that I haven't achieved anything. That's not true. But just like I want to see the fruits of my labor in a way where I'm just like proud of it, you know? And like, I don't know if that's going to be having a family. I don't know if that's going to be my businesses in life. Like, I don't know what that's going to look like, but I want to see the part of my life. And it's like, I hope it doesn't happen 20 years from now. I hope that I can see my like life more together in the next 5 years, for example, right? Like, I would love to just like experience that security, you know, of like, okay, this is, and still with the grain of salt of like, nothing is forever. Things end. Happy days end, and good day and bad days end, and that's always gonna be in my forefront because that's just life.
Totally.
But just like, just really having more things figured out would be nice. You know, that's what I'm looking forward to. Like, just kind of having your footing and like, and like, I don't know, just like
I mean, I agree for you. Yeah.
Having more things that to be proud of myself. Like, I just want to shine in a way that like
you do shine.
But just thank you. But just like,
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. But just like, I don't know, just like having a fuller picture of what life is going to be. Like, I don't know, just like having things more kind of settled, that I would love to just experience that. You know what I mean? Like, obviously I'm in that direction, and we're both, I think, heading in that direction. Totally. But it's just like, I want to know what that feels like. But it's all a process. Like, we're gonna get there. We're going to get there eventually, and you know, God willing, like things will figure themselves out. Yeah. But I am excited to experience like what life is like when you have more things figured out. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense. I do feel
that hard. Like, no, I pretty much echo that same sentiment of yours. And, you know, stability is big. We love the stability, whether that's like emotional, mental, financial. Like, it's especially nowadays. Like, I just feel like everyone's craving it. But I also feel like something, you know, it's funny you said kids. It's just sidetrack. Like, I now have friends that are having kids. Mm-hmm. And every time I meet the child for the first time, I'm like, I do this thing where I like cover my face because I just can't, whether I'm like playing with the baby or I'm like, oh my God, so cute. Or, but then half of it is like, holy crap, my friend just had a whole child. Like, it's so like, I don't know. It's just, it's beautiful, but it's like, oh my God, like
we're growing up.
I can't believe there's like another human being.
It's crazy.
That's like, that came out of you.
That's
and then I'm like, how did that feel? You know, so it's, I'm always like learning. I'm always learning like tips and tricks.
And that's a whole nother part of our life that we have no clue about. Like, what's motherhood gonna be like?
Girl,
have you heard of that movie with Amy Adams? It's called Night Bitch.
I saw that movie.
And, you know, like, she goes through this crazy transformation, and motherhood completely changes her. And, like, she has her own dog thing. But even the moms in the movie talk about how, how, like, it makes you feral in a way, but not in a bad way. Yeah. In like a feet in the ground, like dirt in your hands kind of way. And it's like
Night Bitch with Amy Adams. Watch it, guys.
Amy. And, like, I was thinking about that and thinking, like, there's going to be more change? Like, what?
What do you mean?
Like, it just never ends.
Our bodies, like, already with hormonal imbalances have to go through more hormonal imbalances?
And then eventually we're going to get through menopause. And, you know, it's just like there's...
Oh, my God.
Actually, the truth is that, like, nothing ever settles. No. You know, that's the real truth. No. And like that we're always constantly going to be changing, and that's okay. Like, it might seem a little scary, but that's totally okay. Like, life is constantly going to change, and you're going to change, and your body's going to change, and your definition of what is beautiful is going to change because our faces are going to change, our skin is going to change, you know? I can't wait. And like accepting that with grace.
I'm excited
I really hope that I can do that, you know what I mean? Because we get so stuck in our like, I want to be beautiful, I'm gonna lose my youth, blah blah blah, stupid things, right? Like that we have in our heads sometimes, right? And I would love to handle age with grace, you know, with just like being proud that I got there, because not everybody even gets to 30. You know?
Oh, say that. Wow, that was
and
real.
So the wrinkles on our face are a gift. The white hair on our heads is a gift. It's just time that we get to spend growing as human beings.
And like you said, just living in the present moment. which is very difficult, but it's not impossible.
No, it's not. It's
really
just,
not.
we get in our heads about life and things like that. But
Yeah.
the truth is that life is beautiful, whether it's hard or easy.
We rock.
We rock. We are hard workers, whether we're doing the thing we thought we were going to do or not doing something random, whatever. Like, it's just about taking things with grace and taking things day by day. That's, I think,
a woman.
That's it. Being in your 30s.
Oh, girl.
It's just the beginning, baby.
Are we ready to rock and roll? All right, friend.
Okay. Tell me one thing. Share a mantra or quote that's been grounding you in this season before we go.
What have I been saying to myself lately? One thing I've been saying a lot lately is I am staying true to my highest self.
Okay. What does that mean to you?
For me, it means that no matter where I am, no matter how I'm feeling, if I just go back to my higher self, whether that's like your intuition or like the little voice inside your head, however way you want to, label it as, whatever it is, a thing that is the most authentic and that puts your mindset into a clearer perspective, that's my higher self. And so if I just go back to that every time I feel chaos or every time I feel peace, it helps me sort of ground myself and remember the balance beam that I'm constantly walking on.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
Higher self, guys. What about you, babes? What's your mantra during this era? 30 era.
30 era. Accept things as they are and trust that every day is what it has to be. Like, it's okay. Like, even if it's really hard, even if it's okay. Like, that is just part of your story.
Acceptance.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, 30, flirty,
and thriving.
Thanks, guys, for listening to this episode.
Thanks for coming for Decaf Soul, guys.
We hope this resonated a lot with everyone out there, whether, women, man, however you identify, in your 30s, not in your 30s,
just growing, just growing in life.
But yeah, we're here to receive any comments, messages, anything like that. Anybody that wants to reach out to talk to us, publicly, privately, we're here.
Yeah, we're always here to hear, here to listen,
here to hear,
here to
hear.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Decaf Soul is produced by WNN World News Network.
Follow us at Decaf Soul Podcast on Instagram, YouTube, and Spotify.
New episodes every Friday.